Our next speaker has written a book with a great title. This is Your Brain on Food, an indispensable guide to the surprising foods that fight depression, PTSD, ADHD, anxiety, OCD, and so many more. And here to talk about how a sound diet can help treat and prevent mental health issues, our next speaker has been described as the first nutritional psychiatrist. Please welcome the founder and director of Harvard Medical School's Nutritional and Lifestyle Psychiatry and a professional chef, Dr. Uma Naidoo.
Thank you so much, Gabriella, for that lovely introduction. I'm so happy to be here at the Never Alone Summit. In thinking about the conversation about mental health, as a nutritional psychiatrist, what really has meant a lot to me is the use of food for mental health. You know, nutritional psychiatry, the term is a more nascent word being used, but many of us have practiced using whole foods and healthy nutrients for years in helping individuals improve their mental fitness. Food is an easy conversation to start, and where mental health is still stigmatized in many parts of the world, I think part of changing mental health culture is changing that conversation. Now, I think you know that many people watch the Food Network even if they don't cook. And I take that approach in terms of speaking to people about food because nutritional psychiatry is a very powerful tool in the mental health toolkit, in addition to medications and many different forms of therapy. So I do feel it is an opening to think more widely and deeply about how we use healthy whole foods and nutrients to feel better. Now, you know, the issue is we eating meals. We eat several meals a day, and using food is one way to really impact mental well-being. In nutritional psychiatry, some of what I cover in my book and in my work are a very holistic, integrated, and functional approach. I talk extensively about the gut microbiome and the gut-brain connection in relation to mental health and mental well-being. There has been a burgeoning amount of research on the gut microbiome, especially between 2013 and 2017, where there were probably close to 12,000 journal articles published. And I understand that that has also put the gut brain connection in mental health on the cutting edge of ongoing research, such as the work around psychobiotics and options for the future. Now, today I wanted to cover with you just a few of the mental health pillars that I use in nutritional psychiatry. The first principle is eat whole, be whole. Eating those healthy whole foods and nutrients, knowing what is in your food, is that much better for your mental health. It won't surprise you that ultra-processed junk foods, fast foods, foods with added and refined sugars, processed vegetable oils, artificial sweeteners are problematic for mental health. You may know that they're problematic for your physical health and perhaps even have an impact on type 2 diabetes, as we know, but you may not have known that they also impact mental health. So, eat whole, be whole is one of the things I talk to people about. And then I talk about eat the rainbow, eat the color of the rainbow, a variety and abundance of different phytochemicals and the colors of the different fruit and vegetables you eat actually brings the biodiversity to the gut microbiome, one of the most powerful things and positive effects that you could have on the microbiota that live there. So another important thing to remember when eating whatever foods that you are consuming. The third principle is the greener, the better. I love my leafy greens, and the richness of folate and iron to start are very powerful because low folate levels have been associated with depression and, in fact, a loss of brain cells. So, becoming a more familiar, comfortable, and adding leafy greens to all of your meals becomes extremely important in mental well-being. The fourth pillar that I talk about, or fourth principle, is gut inflammation, is brain inflammation. So, going back to those foods that we want to try to cut back on, such as sugar, dairy, processed vegetable oils, artificial sweeteners, and others, those types of food inevitably cause inflammation in the gut microbiome. Why does that happen? Because those foods feed the not so great bacteria that live in the microbiota. And when they get fed, they overcome the good microbes that are there really to help support all aspects of our health. So gut inflammation ultimately feeds back in that loop to brain inflammation or neuroinflammation. And research is showing us that inflammation in the body is the basis of many conditions in mental health, such as depression, anxiety, and more. So worth paying attention to in our diet and how we're eating. The fifth principle that I speak about is fiber is your friend in mental well being. As Americans, we often are worried about our protein content, but it's fiber that we're sadly lacking. Only 1 in 10 Americans, research has shown, is eating enough fruit and vegetables in their daily servings. So adding fiber becomes important because fiber is actually the nutrient that gut microbes need. Fiber is your friend also when you're feeling anxious or stressed because the way in which complex carbohydrates break down in the body is quite different, much slower, much healthier for your metabolism as well as your insulin levels in your body. So, eating fruit, vegetables, beans, nuts, seeds, healthy whole grains, and legumes becomes vitally important, not only for their individual nutrients, of which there are so many, but also because of the fiber content. And the last pillar that I will leave you with today is eat your berries and don't drink your berries. Now, one of my favorite fruit is blueberries. In mental well-being and mental health, blueberries are really great fruit as well as other berries. Strawberries, raspberries, black raspberries are great. Why? Because they actually are lower glycemic, and many individuals struggling a little with their mental fitness or mental well-being may be on medications which cause weight gain. So having fruit is an important element of our diet. 1 to 2 healthy servings a day is what I suggest, and I definitely lean toward lower glycemic fruit like berries. Just don't drink them because the actual constitution of the berries change. Avoid those store-bought juices, no matter what the label says, because they have a ton of added sugar and all the fiber removed. There's also a way in which there's a concentration of the fructose when you juice your fruit in that way or buy a store-bought juice. So just eat them, add them fresh or frozen to your oatmeal or to your chia pudding, or have them as a healthy snack. And those are things that I think will start you off in thinking about nutritional psychiatry and what a powerful tool nutrition can be to our mental well-being. So I hope that you will consider what is at the end of your fork being extremely powerful as a way to change the conversation in mental health and mental well-being, as a cultural change, as something we can begin to talk about more openly. And like I said, everyone loves the conversation around food. So why not bring in those evidence-based facts as well, along with the research, to share that unless you have a food allergy intolerance, or perhaps you don't eat certain types of food because of your dietary restrictions, food is otherwise a really, really powerful tool. Thank you so much again for having me, and I will now hand it back to Gabriella.
Thank you, Uma. Your book is amazing. So for those who are watching, just go and get her book. It's incredible. There's recipes. It's very, you can just make it yourself, and then you feel like you're the chef in your own kitchen, which for me it's much needed.